Hello, welcome to this tarot reading for June. Happy Pride Month. Happy June. I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful to be here. I've already pulled the cards, and I might pull a few more at the end, but I'm just going to dive into it now. So, the card of the month that I pulled is the Seven of Wands. This is an invitation to get curious about where we might benefit from softening our defenses a little bit. And there's a lot of ways this can play out. And ultimately, I feel like this is kind of like the energy of like a journal prompt that is just continually woven throughout the month that we're being invited to keep in mind and check in with, touch base with as we think of it, as we're able to. So this can have to do with really any situation, typically situations that are uncomfortable, that might be intimidating. Perhaps they are very uncertain, unknown. Maybe they're not happening in the way that we want them to, or they're not unfolding in a way that we would prefer or that we can perceive as like working out or being in our favor. So this is really about like trusting that what's meant for you will be, that you can't miss what's meant for you, essentially. That can definitely be part of this energy, I have found, especially when in the context of things not really going according to plan, right? But this can also have to do with situations where, like, perhaps we're approaching a difficult conversation or a conversation that's uncomfortable to initiate. So it's natural that that's anxiety inducing, that there's potentially some tension around that. But for me, pulling this card in a situation like that, it's an invitation to soften and get curious around, like, where might I be assuming that this conversation is going to go poorly? What's going on in me that can really only be addressed and confronted within myself that is contributing to this like defensive posture, right? So this person is on top of a cliff. There's a series of there's a ladder essentially leading to them, and another person is like climbing up the ladder, right? And this person is at the top with the wand, like, I'm gonna get you. Like, don't you come up here. And so it's like an opportunity to look at this card and think, like, maybe this person has a good message for them. Maybe they just want to communicate. Maybe they wanted to say hi. Like, we don't know what's going on. And it's an invitation always with this card, right? Because there are situations in life where softening our defenses is not the thing to do. But when this card comes up, it's like a little bell going off that's alerting us to this being in the works. There's something in our life where we may be finding ourselves tensing up, getting defensive around. By that I don't mean like denying or like that kind of defensive. I mean more like we're bracing for impact, or we're expecting something bad to happen, and we're expecting something to not go well. We feel the need to protect ourselves. Maybe we are completely avoiding a conversation because we've written off the possibility of it going well, right? So this kind of energy, but with the reading overall, I'm really feeling this energy of like softening. Like there will be opportunities this month to soften and shed some of that tense, defensive energy that we've been carrying. I did pull a clarifier for the Seven of Wands, and it's the High Priestess. So, which is it's another card that we have in this reading. And we also had her in the last 2 monthly tarot readings. So really strong, continuous stream of High Priestess themes. And I think, with this High Priestess energy, there's an element of kind of yin energy of softening, receiving, that is being highlighted here. And that is essentially, I think, what we are being invited to do through these Seven of Wands growth edges. They don't always feel like we're softening when we decide to approach them. That's a very brave and courageous thing to do. And, we might still be like a little like rough and tense. But in being brave, being courageous, and showing up to these areas of our life, this initiates a deeper process of softening, right? And dilating our capacity to be ourselves, to receive information from the world, to see beyond our projections. I also feel like this High Priestess card is here like essentially just saying like you have what it takes to navigate these Seven of Wands lessons in your life. You have the answers. You will be able to recognize and move through these in the way that is in highest and best for you. You have the answers, and to really trust yourself in that. So the other tarot cards that we have are the Page of Pentacles, the Sun, and the High Priestess. And then I also pulled the Four of Wands. So yeah, with this Page of Pentacles was also in our reading last month. It feels related to the High Priestess. They both are cards of deep listening deep listening, deep receptivity. Page of Pentacles to me specifically feels very related to our soul growth, our soul's journey, and essentially what we're here to do in our lives, like in this one incarnation as we are right now, this in this body, this life, this set of circumstances. Like, it's about really sinking more deeply into our lives and kind of bow to yourself, your higher power, to life itself, this one precious life, and deeply listen and ask, like, what would you have me know? What would you have me do? This is about like the deepest directives that come through us. They can only come through us because they're for us uniquely. It's not like a parentifying God type of a thing. This is like the high priestess is the access point for this. It's ourselves as a vessel and a channel. So I think that both of these themes are kind of like undercurrents right now. That are kind of beneath the other themes, beneath the surface, that are asking to be tapped into. There's an opportunity to really go deep in our inquiry and our listening, and especially as it relates to our paths. And I think with this energy too, with the Page of Pentacles and being in a hermit year, this is more about cultivating the capacity to even engage with life in that way, and cultivating the receptivity to receive that next step, to receive that little flash of clarity, rather than some sort of grand download about a huge directional pivot. I'm not saying that won't happen or that can't happen, but I'm feeling more of like this sort of smaller scale dipping into that same depth of directive, but maybe in like bite-sized ways. We also have the Sun card, and it's really pretty. This card's really pretty in this deck. So if you can see that. The Sun is really an opportunity to witness ourselves in our growth, to celebrate where we are, where we've come from, how far we've come. And I feel that it very much relates to authenticity, the theme of authenticity, especially this month. Authenticity and being seen, right? So this is related to Leo energy, and there's something very important in Leo energy as an archetype about being seen and also seeing truly, and about how, like, the profound healing that can come from that. And I think this month, we are being invited to really celebrate ourselves. And again, with this sort of journal prompt theme, like, think about how we've grown in our journeys of authenticity, of being able to shine our light more and to just be, to move, like how we've maybe moved through shame. This also relates to that Seven of Wands energy. I feel like the Sun card was directly underneath it, and there's like an interesting kind of tension and polarity there. I feel like oftentimes for me, like, the internal things that keep me from being myself in situations, or from putting myself in situations where I might be seen in any capacity, is that Seven of Wands energy. It's like, I don't feel safe to do that. I'm deeply projecting. Yeah, it feels very threatening. I mean, this person in the card, like, it's like, you know, they feel this unknown person, like, making new friends, let's say, signing up for a new social activity, maybe going on YouTube, things like this. Like, it's so easy to let that Seven of Wands energy take over us and run our lives. And I feel like this month is presenting us with opportunities to show up for some of those experiences, and to also just reflect and recognize how much we have grown in these ways, right? To really like celebrate and mine our past for examples of when we have conquered the Seven of Wands energy, when we've showed up for a conversation and realized, like, oh, you know, this person was actually more receptive to seeing me, to like having this sort of dialogue that feels comfortable and desirable than I thought they would be. Yeah. And it is really sweet and special that it's Pride Month. And again, like, I know that can be a really tender theme for a lot of people, especially now, increasingly. Just like authenticity in general can be. When the Sun card, we're measuring ourselves not against where we'd like to be so much as where we've been. And it's an opportunity to feel that growth and to get curious again around where we are able to be ourselves, or even just more of ourselves, right? I had an opportunity last month to really, the end, just like a few days ago, to really like feel into that tension of like, I don't know if I felt like I was perfectly myself in this circumstance, but it was undeniable to me that I was more of myself, more comfortable, almost like so comfortable that like later I was like, oh no, I was too comfortable, you know? And that's this energy. Like, it's not about authenticity as like this ideal thing. It's like feeling into those moments where we're like, we were able to just be. And the Four of Wands is about celebration and joy, chasing your joy, creating moments that are a kind of ritualized. They don't have to be planned, but like actually like taking a step away from the daily grind, from your work, from whatever it is, and like doing something fun. Doesn't have to be with other people, doesn't have to be going out, but doing something fun, creating a moment that's like enjoyable. And both of these cards, the Four of Wands and the Sun, feel very related to inner child energy and creating space to nurture our inner children and to let them out to play, to gas them up, to reflect on like how maybe we might be a little bit more in touch with them than we think or than we've been able to. And also it's Pride Month, so let's celebrate. So the next card that I have is Self-esteem. It says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And I want to read the description for this card because it's just really lovely. So it says, it is easy to perceive others as being better than you. This is a trap of the ego. There is no one greater or lesser than you. There are only those who have learned how to reveal their gifts to a greater or lesser degree. Everyone is born with unique abilities of the soul, just like snowflakes. No two are ever alike. Certified snowflake. You have a unique perspective to share with the world and have come back this time to put your stamp on it. Perhaps you may not be aware or even in tune with your incredible and gifted self. Why not try to make a list of 10 aspects of yourself or abilities you possess that you love and hold in high regard? It is not always easy to write about yourself, but sometimes you need to be reminded just how special you are. Remember that you did not come down to this schoolroom by accident. You have a meaning and a reason for being. You are a treasure chest of incredible gifts and insights. Now is the time to celebrate you, fellow snowflake. Yeah, so this is like that sweet sun energy, and I feel like this also relates to the Page of Pentacles. It's like understanding that, you know, you're not a mistake. You're you for a reason, and that's really beautiful and special. Yeah, super cute. I'm gonna pull a self-care card. So progress and patience just came out, but I'm gonna pull something else. Passion. So it says, resurrect a childhood dream. Let your passion take flight. I love this. It's that like inner child energy. Yeah, let me just, so on the card is a like young kid playing the piano. I feel like I've probably already said this and you've probably gathered this, but I do think that for some of us, this Seven of Wands energy is, you know, it might very much be about being seen and reaching new levels of intimacy, really with life, perhaps with specific people in our relationships, but also like with life, like being seen in general, putting yourself out there, trying to make new friends, trying to be more honest, trying to be heard, trying to be seen. Like, these are acts that increase our intimacy with ourselves and with life itself and with the people around us. And I think that June is going to bring us some opportunities to go a little deeper. And that's really beautiful. It can also be scary, but it's beautiful. And I think that the more that we pour love into ourselves, and it's like this Leo energy of like self-respect, the more that we pour love into ourselves and really like kind of work on reparenting ourselves, I think the deeper we're going to be able to go. So I'm going to pull one last card. Commitment. I don't know if you can read that or if it's too like washed out, but I think this is really about committing to this process, committing to the growth process that this reading is speaking to, that surely relates to more than just June, which is uncomfortable, right? Like, it requires commitment. It requires commitment to ourselves, commitment to growth, commitment to also like the standards that we have for ourselves and the things that we want that are on the other side of this Seven of Wands energy. And also, honestly, like commitment to life and our gifts and the way that our gifts are transpersonal, right? They are here to be a part of the world and to benefit ourselves and the people around us. We didn't come here to be isolated and to hide ourselves away, to Seven of Wands ourselves like away from those areas of growth. And there's a deeper role that we are stepping into, and part of that process is honoring ourselves and our gifts, allowing ourselves to be seen and to enter into deeper intimacy in our relationships and in our life. So I feel like that is the reading. I'm really curious to see how June will pan out. I am sending you so much love and sending you the energy of being seen, beaming you beautiful, like being seen in really beautiful ways, and knowing that you're not alone. So, love, happy Pride Month, happy June, and I'll see you next month.